What's going on, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about whether pop culture has a negative effect or a positive effect on our generation. So let's get into this. Okay, so do you think that pop culture has a negative or positive effect on our generation?
Like 50-50.
Why is
I
that?
think it could have a positive, like social media could be very positive if they follow like the right people. Like,
Yeah, I can
it's
see where you're
obviously
coming
all
from.
up to their choice, and parents do have to be involved with this. You can't let your kid have too much freedom, especially when it comes to social media, especially nowadays, like
Yeah.
online and internet.
I can see where you're coming from, but also I can see how it has a very negative effect because
Yes.
I can see people who listen to rap music, and personally I do listen to rap music too, but it just makes you cuss more and just kind of act out, and sometimes it just makes you act like a worse person sometimes. And then also on social media, some people care about their likes way too much, and then it brings people down and stuff. So in one way, like, say someone posts something and I post a picture, I'm like, oh, I want likes, like I want to get a lot of likes on this, right? Like if I don't get that many likes, I'm gonna be like, oh, people don't like my post.
So do you think it gives children or like teens like low self-esteem?
It can do that, and then also it can make people act out in different ways. It can make people think certain things are okay. It's just there's so many things that it can negatively do. But also on the positive side, there's so many positive things that it can do. Like, I feel like in some of these videos right now that we can make, there's positive things that we can put out there, how we're putting out these positive things.
And I feel like people always mainly focus on the negative part of like everything. No one really talks about the positive.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But also there is a big negative aspect to it. Like,
yeah,
a lot of things are
like
negative.
video games. People always talk about like video games as an example. Like if you let your kid play a 17 and up game, it's rated that for reasons, and you can't expect your kid, like GTA, if you let your 10-year-old or something like that around that age play GTA and they act out, I don't know why you didn't expect that. That's a like, and like also, blame the game, but it's kind of
okay. But I can see where if the parents coming from, if the kid buys the game without the parents' knowledge, then I can see where the parents are coming from in that perspective. But if the parent buys the game for the kid, that's
all your fault.
Yeah, that's
if they freak out and start acting like they're in the game, not like they're a video game character, but like they start freaking out or acting like the characters from a video game.
Okay, so if the kid buys the game without the parents' knowledge, then I 100% understand where I understand where the parents coming from and saying, like, yo, like, video games are having a negative effect on my child, because I 100% understand that. Like, your kid bought the game without you knowing, but if you willingly buy them the game, because if you're in Walmart or GameStop or wherever it is, you have to have a parent over, I'm pretty sure it's 17 or 18 or whatever, to buy the game.
Like, so, some games I had to get my stepmom to do that.
So GTA, you have to be there, you have to knowledgeably know that I'm buying my kid GTA. And so,
which is a crime in itself, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, so you can just see where that can go wrong. So if you buy that for your kid, that's on you. Don't come out here saying, yo, this has a negative effect. I didn't know. You had to come to the store and buy it for them because they couldn't buy it. Like, it says it on the back. You see all the things that it does in the game. Like, come on, how are you going to do that?
This is why it's for adults. They wouldn't rate it, T for teen or E for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the music part. It can have a positive effect, but also a very negative effect. So, for example, a negative effect can be like the rappers who talk about drugs and sex and money and all that stuff, like, killing people. Like, the positive is like rappers who are uplifting and bring you up. Like, for example, there's a rapper named Lathan Warlick. He actually, he raps about God and stuff and how his past has shaped him into who he is now. And those are very uplifting. But also the rappers who talk about drugs and sex and money and all that, I mean, I feel like that's very negative and can bring people down, and it also makes other people think that that's okay.
Music is supposed to be creative, it's an art form. It's a extension of yourself, whatever you're thinking or you're feeling,
Yeah.
Or like an example, if you're depressed and you start listening to sad music or always talking about doing drugs, and you're like, you know what, if they do it, I'm gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
how about I try drugs and like then they overdose or like something like that.
Yeah.
So like if someone overdoses because they always listen to music talking about like doing drugs, or maybe they kill themselves because some music is very depressing.
Yeah.
Some people's thoughts are very depressing.
Yeah, music can have a negative and a positive,
Like-
and I feel like everything can
like
have a
culture.
negative. I feel like everything has
Everything
its pros
could.
and its cons. Like, so for example, social media, the people who are like uplifting and like following people who bring them up and stuff, and just using it for communication and like fun and posting what you're doing and all that. Okay, that's like positive for people. But the people who worry about how many likes they get, how many people are following them, how many people like them in person, like all that, like the people who worry about that too much, I feel like it has a negative effect on them. I think we can come to a conclusion on this that
Yeah.
social media and just pop culture in general,
Like anything could have its positive and its negatives, depending on the kind of person who has social media or listens to a lot of rap or depressing music or even like super happy music. It all has its pros and cons, you know?
Yeah, everything has its pros and cons, and I feel like
It just depends on how you interpret it.
yeah, I feel like that's what we can take out of this video, that it's how you interpret it. If you interpret music one way, then it's going to be that one way. If you other way, it's going to be that other way. So I feel like that's the conclusion we can come to, that it has its pros and its cons, and that's how it's going to be forever.
Here we are at Elephant in the Room signing off.